Welcome back to March Die. I am the Stress Master. Thank you for joining me on this drill writing series. We're on part number 6. I can't remember which way the camera makes it look, but it's episode number 6, where we're going to be start putting our group together in terms of instrumentation, labeling, and then we're going to add in our color guard. And I do need to make a correction. Somebody pointed out something very accurate that I messed up somehow, is putting the drum major podium in front of the pit. They should be behind the pit, so I don't know why I did that. I was probably tired at the time when I did that, but we're going to go ahead and start by fixing that first, because the drum major podium should be behind the pit unless they're somehow around the drum major stand, which is very rare, but it can happen. We can have the pit on each side just facing angled in, but typically they're going to be behind. So let's go ahead and start there. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is click on my move here so that I can zoom and move the grid. And we're going to pull this back. We're going to expand, use control and scroll wheel just to get this a little bit bigger so you can see how much nicer it is and easier it is. Because we're only using up through the back hash. The furthest we're probably going to go out is maybe the 20s. Usually with the band this size, I don't go further than the 20s left to right. And if you have a much smaller band, you want to keep them in the 30s, maybe only halfway back, depending on your size and also the size of your color guard, because they need space, right, to spin and stuff like that. So, but let's go ahead and get this fixed down here. I don't know why I did that. Like I said, no excuse. I should know better, but apparently I wasn't thinking at the time. So I'm going to move it over here just for a moment so I can get it out of the way. And let's go ahead and move our pit up. I'm going to move them right below the field. And then we're going to move, I'm grabbing the selection tool here, which I probably could have just grabbed it, and then move the drum major podium here. Now I do want to put a person on the drum major podium, so let me show you what that looks like, because that's something you're going to want to do, because that's going to obstruct the view of your drill. So you want to make sure that you are doing that. So this is what it's going to look like right now. So there is our drum major podium. There are performers. They're still waiting to have their instruments put in their hands. So let's go ahead and put a performer. So we're going to make sure we're on 0. Sorry. Make sure we're on set 0 before we add anything. Then we're going to click this, which is going to be to add a point. So we're just going to put them right here. Oops. Let's make sure, once again, make sure it's deselected, so we don't move the thing we just created. So we're going to put, how do I want to do this? I'm going to leave it as an X for now. I'm going to change the color though. So you can change the color of each of the individual sections or woodwinds and brass. I generally like to do woodwinds and brass in different colors so that I can see them on the field, so I know blue is brass and woodwinds are red or green or some other color, so that I know. In this case, I'm going to make the drum major, let's make them green, just so we can, I'll show you what it looks like here in just a second. So as soon as I hit accept, now the X is going to look green. So I do want to make sure that they will be able to stand on this prop. So I need to do a couple things. I'm going to select that prop, go to our visual editor here, make sure our performer prop is set to can walk on performer props, click apply. Then we're going to grab our person and also make sure that they can walk on performer props. Then I'm going to move them on top of the performer prop by just grabbing and dragging and moving. This is where it gets a little tricky. You can see how if I put them over here, I'm going to be selecting both. So this is where you got to be a little bit careful. I'm going to put them on the front of the podium just in case I need to switch out. Like maybe you have 2 drum majors, they need to move up and down. But you can see how this has an X on here. I could change the symbol, but it just is going to make it a little bit easier for me to see. Oops, and it doesn't look like they're on the prop. All right, so they're down below the props. That's a problem. Let me check this first. Whoops, this first. Can be walked on. Let's try that. See if that does it. There we go. Okay. So apparently you have to have can be walked on, and then can walk on performers is the other one. All right, so sometimes it's hit or miss. You gotta, I'm sure that's the way it's supposed to work. I just haven't done it in a long time. So, All right, but now we know they're up there. We want to turn them around, and we're also going to change the color of their uniform. And we're also going to mark their label. So we're going to create a label for them, and they're going to be drum major. Okay. And then we want them to not have the same uniform. So I'm going to go over here to the visual editor and go to uniform and equipment. And we're going to get rid of the male marcher 1. And if they're female, you can change it to female marcher 2. So let's go ahead and do that. And we're going to get rid of we could have a drum major hat, but most of the time they take hats off before they start conducting. So I'm going to go ahead and say we're going to remove that, and we're going to change the facing to facing the group. So now they're facing there, and you can see if I zoom in, all right, boom, 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 boom. Okay, so there's our drum major. Now, I do want to get rid of this performer number 61 because that's going to bother me later on. And you can actually just remove, if you don't want any label on for the drum major, you can just do it here and just not have anything at all. Let me just do DM. That way it's a little bit shorter. It's not as tall, and let's get rid of the label for this right here. Or sorry, name, space. I don't know what I'm thinking. Space, except, let's see if it gets rid of it. Ha-ha! Okay. Small victory. Let me fix my keyboard. So that's a way if you want to get rid of the performer names. You don't have to have performer names there. As you're doing it, though, it may be helpful because then you can tell where the baritones are, where the flutes are, and etc. So kind of however you want to do it. So now let's take a look at, let me see if I can move this just a little bit. So what we need to do is we need to get rid of the shakos that are currently on our performers because they're not going to be wearing them in the show. We can keep the uniforms the same color, but there are other options we can look at. The white, we can also do a different color, and you can do custom colors. So if the band you're working with, they have a uniform, you can actually take pictures of it. There's a service that Pyware offers, and they'll actually create the uniform for you, and then you just put it into your file, and it'll make it look like they're the same exact uniforms. So, or if you go to Pyware's site, they have a fabric gallery, and it looks like people have probably put these up here, but you can sort by colors, by uniforms, by helmets, multicolor, orange, pink, whatever colors you're looking for. Maybe you can find a uniform that's very close to what you need, and you can see there's flags and all kinds of other guard uniforms, drum major uniforms, regular uniforms, and to download them, all you have to do is click on it, and then you click on what you want here, and then it will download it, and then you can extract it out. So, and there's, I'm sure, a tutorial on how to do this, but it's way too much time to go into during our video series here. Uniforms. So for our purposes today, we're not going to do that, but let's go ahead and get rid of those shakos. So what I'm going to do is use the lasso tool, and I am going to go around our prop because we don't need that. Come around here, connect this up. Now we should have everybody selected. We're going to go to uniform and equipment, and we're going to get rid of the hat. So we don't want a hat. Okay. Click apply. Now you can see that the hat is now gone. Now if I want to change the uniform, I could. And you can get very granular in this program. There's actually, I'll show you guys the cast list later. You can actually have everybody's heights and adjust everybody's heights. So you can get like exact, like someone's 5'4" and this person's 6'1", and you don't want the 6'1" person next to the 5'4" person, so you can maybe adjust them on the field so they're not standing next to each other, stuff like that. You can get very, very granular in this program. I'm not going to go into that, but you can do that. Let me go ahead and change it to male marcher 2 so you guys can see the difference. I have to hit apply changes first. Now they're all wearing the white uniform the drum major is. Now if I change this to male marcher 3, hit apply changes, I believe it changes to a gray. Yep, there we go, gray. Let's go with the gray one. I kind of like that. That's kind of cool. Now let's get the instruments in the hands of these performers. So we need to do from our flutes all the way around to our performers. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the instrument list. Okay, so we have 6 flutes, 8 clarinets, 6 altos, 4 tenors, and 2 berries. Okay, so we need to make sure that we're putting our flutes first. Let's go ahead and start with the flutes. I'm going to toggle back. Okay, so now let's get our 6 flutes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to select them here. Sorry, here we go. All 6 of them. We're going to go for the label. So this is where you can use the symbols that come standard with Pyware. You can use the symbols for each of the different instruments. So currently the symbols are all X's. They default to that. Now when I'm adding them, I probably should have used the symbols, but I wanted to show you, let's get everything on the field first. But you would probably want to go, I'm adding flutes, so I'm going to use the symbol for flutes. Let me show you where that lives. Let me go out of here. Okay, so you're going to come up here to reference. You're going to go to your Pyware. Is it the user guide or online user guide? Oh, sorry, cast list editor. Utilities, cast list editor. Sorry about that. It's going to ask me if I want to save changes. So this is where the cast list is. We don't have anybody assigned yet except for the drum major. So there's really nobody assigned yet. I can go to the edit symbol map. And this is going to give you all of the symbols you can possibly use. Now, you can come in here and pre-program this. You can create a template if you want for all of your drill. But you can see here, like A is for alto sax, B is for baritone, and that's an actual baritone horn, clarinet, bass drum, tenor sax, flute, flag is G, mellophone, tenor drum is Q, R is trombone, S is snare drum, T is trumpet, U is sousaphone. So we can use all of these symbols if we want. I don't necessarily like this because E is kind of confusing for tenor sax. I like the labels to make sense to what they are. Like for example, I would probably make alto saxophone an S for sax, and then that way I could use it for altos or tenors. But what I'm going to do, though, is I'm still going to use some of these, and you guys can, like I said, you can do it however you want. You can also just use the X's and then put the label of like F1 or F2 or trumpet or whatever you want to do. I'm going to show you guys how to use the symbols because it does do a lot of cool stuff. First thing it's going to do, though, you can see the shaker with plume is going to automatically appear, and I already removed those. So I can just remove them all. Just leave blank, and I can go down here and just leave them all blank so I don't have this going on, or just say no hat. Let's just do no hat. We'll make it simple. Let me go back up to here so I get it all. No hat, no hat, no hat, and I'm just clicking on it. Oops, we don't need anything there. No hat, and I'm just going to use this. All right, so and then make sure I get the trumpet and the sousaphone. Now, even though this is going to default this basic stuff, so it's going to do the male marcher 1, which we already have the uniform of 3. So I'm going to go ahead and clean it up after the fact, but I'm just going to go, it's going to convert them all back to the red uniform. I'm going to convert them back to the gray all at once. But this will just have as a preset. So it's going to do male marcher, no hat, alto saxophone, and it's actually going to put the equipment in their hand. And then it's going to create a saxophone figure. Is just the figure of the instrument. And then the guard, of course, is G, and that's going to put a flag in their hand, and then we can change that as well. So however you guys want to configure this, you can. I'm going to keep it simple. Like I said, I don't normally do it this way. I just do it how I do it. I assign letters that make sense to me, and then I give that list to the band director saying, hey, you know, B is for baritone, and then we have TB is trombone, or TB1, TB2, TB3, TB4. Just so it makes more sense to the performer too, so they can say, I'm TB1, I'm trombone 1, I'm baritone 1, I'm trumpet T1, I'm T2, I'm alto sax 1. Like tenor sax, I would do TN1, tenor sax 1. It's a little bit extra work, but it's way better because it's going to make them see it. But you can do it however you wish. For this demonstration, though, we're going to keep it very, very simple. We're just going to do saxophones for all the saxes, including tenors, and flutes are very simple because they're just flutes. So let's go ahead and hit save. Hit OK. All right, that was very long-winded. Sorry about that. So here we go. 6. Make sure I got 6 here. 6 of 64 selected. I'm going to go to label. We're going to go down to the symbol section here. Let me move this so I can actually not have to fiddle. Okay. We're going to put an F here. Click repeat symbol, and it's going to repeat it all. And we do want to label like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So the easy way to do is you put a 1. And if you're going left to right, you're going to use the plus sign. If you're going right to left, you're going to use the minus sign if you want the numbers to go that direction. So as soon as I hit this, it's going to now label it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I can also set the contour so that it will, the labels will show up. It looks like the labels are really, really small. So I'm going to show you guys how to increase that size here because that's really, really tiny. But we can do it, the labels facing in or facing out. I'm going to have them facing out. I like to put them on the outside of the curve. It's just a little bit easier to see because when you do it on the inside, it kind of angles them in together. See if I can do it. It angles them in together like this, so it's a little bit harder to see. But on the outside, it does it like that. So it's a lot better in my experience. But I do want to move this label because see how it's laying right on the 45-yard line. I'm just going to go click on the label tool. Sorry, I need to say what I'm doing. And then I'm going to click on this angle right here and then click accept. And you can see now it's really, really visible. But we do need to address this problem of the label is a good size, but the numbers are really, really tiny. So let's go to File, Document Options, Preferences, and we need to go to Labels. So you see how tiny the labels are? We don't want that. We're going to click Choose. So there's a display size and also a print size. So you can actually have it print in a different size than what you display. But this is just way too small. I'm going to actually go to 10. We're also going to have it print at a 10. We'll see what that looks like. We're going to say OK. All right, but now we have the flutes set up, and you can see it's a much easier read now. I can see them much better. I can make it much bigger if I want to, because as you're writing, you do kind of want to be able to see it, right? So you know what instruments you're dealing with and all that. So now that we have adjusted the size, you can see it's much, much better. You can make it bigger if you want to, so it's just a lot easier to read. I'm okay with that size, so I'm going to leave it there. Okay, so now that we have the flutes finished, we need to do our clarinets. So let's go ahead and select our 8 clarinet players. Looks like I missed one, so I'm going to use the shift key. Boom. Okay, so now following the same process, we're going to do our label. Come here to make that a capital C. Repeat the symbols. And then we're going to do 1 plus, and it should label everything correctly. We're going to hit accept. I forgot to show you the flutes. So you can now see the flutes all have their flutes in their hands and the clarinets have the clarinets in their hands. So it doesn't look like it overwrote the selection I did for the uniform. So perfect, 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 perfect. So you can also see though, it only says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 above their heads. So that's that label part, the name part. So if I wanted to update that, I could put C1, I could put clarinet, and then it's going to put clarinet. So however you want to do it, you can definitely do that. I don't know why it does that, but it does that. I'm just going to leave it for now and click accept. Because when I'm looking at the drill, I know what C means. C means clarinet, clarinet 1. And as you're animating, though, you may want to be able to see that. So let's go ahead and move on to our saxophones. So we have 6 altos, 4 tenors, and we have 2 bari saxes, but the 2 bari saxes, once again, are going to be with the trumpet, or tubas, so we don't need to worry about them. We are going to do 10 saxophones, and then we're going to divide up 6 and 4. So we're going to put 4 with tenors, and then leave the altos with the others. Here we go. Okay, so next we need to do our saxophones. So what we're going to do is we're going to select our saxophones here. We want to make sure we get 10 of them, so that's how number we have. I don't know why this is doing this. Here we go. Sometimes it does this. Sometimes I have to shake it a little bit. It's 10 of 64. I don't know why it does it. Only in my version does it do it. Probably because of the Java. But we want to do labels. We're going to make them all altos for now. We're going to do labeling of 1 through 10. Okay, so there we go. We're going to click accept. Oh, sorry, repeat symbols. Almost forgot that. Accept. Now we should see that they're all on a saxophone. Okay, I do want to get rid of this performer 62 and 63. Hopefully you guys remember how. So, how do we do that? We need to go back to our label here, and then we're going to just put a space in the name field, hit repeat, accept, and now we should have nothing there. So perfect, perfect, perfect. All right. So now we need to convert these 4 from altos to tenors. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to select just number 7, 8, 9, and 10. Oops, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to change this right here to tenor sax. And that's all you have to do. Very, very simple. You can see it does look a little bit different. It's a little bit longer than the altos. All right, so let's go ahead and move on down the road here. The next section we're doing is our tubas and our bari saxes. So the bari saxes are going to be here, and our tubas are going to be here. But we're initially just going to put them all the same symbol so that it looks the same. And they're going to be U's for tubas, or sousaphones in this case. And you can do over the shoulder if you have over the shoulder tubas. It's called, I think it's marching tuba, or sousaphone, or wherever you have, or bari saxes in this case. So let's do the label. We're going to do U. Repeat the symbol, and then we're going to do 1 through 4 is fine, and then we're going to click, repeat, I always forget that, and then accept. Now they should all be on sousaphone, but we're going to change these 2 to bari saxes. So let's do that now. So we're just going to click over here, but you notice we have a selection for woodwind, brass, percussion, and guards. We want to go to woodwind. And we're going to change this to the bari sax. Okay. There we go. Now they're marching bari saxes. So now we have our tubas and our bari saxes there. The next part is going to be our baritones. So let's take a look at our baritones. We have 5 baritones and 3 trombones, so a total of 8. Remember, you can use separate labels for baritone is B, and then trombone is R. You can do it that way. Let's go ahead and do it that way just for this, because there are separate labels already in place. So we'll do 5 B's and then 3 R's. All right, so we're going to put the, let's put the trombones right here next to the tubas. So we're going to do a label, should be an R, repeat the symbol, and we'll do 1 plus. Now you can put them all part of the baritone line or all part of the trombones, but we'll separate this out just so you can see the difference. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5 out of 64. Label, and you see this part goes pretty quick. Once you get going, it's not too bad. Whoops, it's not too bad. It's pretty straightforward, as long as you know the symbols. And I'll put this in I'll put it in like some sort of PDF or something, or document where you guys can access it. So the last part we have is 2 more parts. We have our mellophones, and then we have our trumpets. So we have 5 mellophones, and then we have 7 trumpets. So let's go ahead and put those on. So 5 mellophones and 7 trumpets. Okay, so label, and then mellophones M. Pretty easy. It does make the labeling go way faster if you know the symbols. Except now they should all be on mellophones. Look at that, mellophones. All right, so the last part, we have our trumpets and then of the brass, and then we have our percussion back in here. All right, so let's do that now. So we have our trumpets. And you can see it's pretty easy. You guys probably see some cutting here because it's just pretty straightforward. Oh, I forgot to do I forgot to hit repeat symbols. So that's the thing that if you don't forget the repeat, it won't repeat and it won't add the trumpets to your selections. So next we have our snares, our quads, and our basses. So snares, quads, and basses. Quads are cues, S's are snares, and then let me look at the reference real quick. I'm sorry, the for bass drums. I think it's D, and it's D. Never mind, it's D. And I'll put this up on the screen again, but it's D. But then you have to assign 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 because it's only going to put everybody on first base. So we definitely want to distinguish that. So let me go ahead and do our snares first. We're going to label that S for snare. Repeat the symbol. Wash, rinse, repeat. I have to hit accept. I always forget that. Now they're all in snares. Okay. Let's go ahead and do our quads next. We have 3 quads. Q. And you can label this like however you want. Or if maybe the band director wants it labeled differently. But there's our quads. And now we just have our bass drums. Bass drums. Now, prior to this video, I did assign the facing to these guys, but I'll show you how to do that because it's really important to make sure everybody's facing the right directions. So let's go ahead and do our labeling here, and then it's going to be D. Whoops, D. Don't do lowercase because that will make it something different. And we want a label of 1 to 5 because we're going to smallest bass here, biggest bass in the back. So 1 through 5. Except, and now you're going to see that everybody there is on a bass drum and they're all facing the front. So we do need to change their facing so that they're facing the correct way. And also they're all on different basses, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So unfortunately, bass drums, you can program that in. Like I said, on that list, you can just set them up and then you can just put them, but then you need to know this. You have to create a symbol for them. But we already know number 2 is going to be on bass drum number 2. I can just select it here, apply. Select the next one, 3, apply, 4, apply, and then 5. So not too hard, pretty self-explanatory. Okay, but we do need to fix their facing because they're all facing the front. Let me go ahead and show you how to adjust the facing of the bass drum. So these first 4 here, we're going to have them kind of facing down the lane here. So these 2 are going to be facing pretty much dead on to the end zone. So we're going to go to facing here, and you can see they're currently facing the front. But if I change it to this, which is, and you can also do face directions of like degrees and stuff like that. You don't need to really get that specific because honestly, your staff is going to the staff that's teaching this is going to figure that out. As long as they're facing in the general directions, you're going to be pretty good. I mean, unless you're the one writing and teaching it, then you might want to get super specific. But I'll show you some tools you can use as you're going through the drill. If you use what's called follow the direction of movement, when they stop when they're doing like a follow the leader, it's gonna like their drum will follow around, and then when they stop, it'll stop in the direction if you have a hold or something like that. But since this is the beginning, we're gonna leave it here. So let's go ahead and fix their direction. Whoops, wrong one. Hit escape. All right, so let's go ahead and select our 2 here. Facing a fixed direction. They're gonna face slightly down. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that looks good. Yep. And once again, this is just so for reference. I mean, they're gonna fix that. It doesn't have to be exact unless that's what they want. Because really, you just want to write the shapes and the movement. But there we go. That looks pretty good. So we got a pretty good handle. Now, everybody currently is playing, but at the very beginning of the show, the band does not play, the drums do. So we need to flip that. So let's go ahead and save what we got first. We're going to do file save. Make sure we're saving our document. We need to put the drums in playing position because they play at the very beginning. That's going to be visuals, pose, play. Now you can assign like how many counts you want them to go into that position, starting where, what count. In this case, it's right at the very beginning. Right? And then the band comes in. So we want the drums to be playing, and they're all in playing position right now. But we want the band to have the horns down, and they might bring the horns up in 4 or turn. Like I think we're gonna have them turn. So let's go ahead and select all of the band. Now, one thing to keep in mind, you cannot select drums and winds because the visuals and the poses are different, but you can select everybody that's a wind player, and you can do horns up, horns down, press box, and stuff like that. So we're going to do horns down, and that's going to put them into an attention position. Okay, there's the attention for the flutes, and there's the attention for the saxophones. Okay. Let me back out just a little bit. Trombones are down. All that fun stuff. Okay? So now we have everybody ready to go. So we have everybody labeled, everybody set. We need to get our color guard onto the field. So let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, so you can see we have 16 color guard. We're going to break them up into different groups. So we're going to put 5 in the lower pocket, 5 in the other pocket, and then we're going to put 6 across the back. They're all going to start on flags, but you can do rifles or sabers or a combination thereof. You can also have them change to equipment. Like you can use your props as an equipment change area if they want to switch out to like a rifle, like after the introduction, stuff like that. I'm going to go and switch back. Okay, so what we have is we have this pocket here. We're going to put our color guard in there. We're going to put them in a scatter formation. We also have a pocket area here, and then we can put color guard here. So we're actually going to put a pocket of color guard, a pocket of color guard, and then the rest of the color guard in the back here. Just so we can show you how you can stage things differently in layers, okay? Oh, let's go ahead and do this. Let's make sure we click away from everything. There we go. So we need to make sure we're on 0, which we are, and now we're going to put in our pocket of 5. So I'm going to do kind of a scatter formation. And once again, you can move this around. I think that looks pretty decent. Let's see what it looks like. So before I even lay it down, I can see how it looks. So I'm probably going to want to move this person maybe over here, because they're going to be spinning, so they need to be kind of away from the band. Let's put this person here. Move this person here. There we go. That's looking a lot better. I don't want it to look like it's a form, so we have to really try hard to make sure it doesn't look like a form. Let's see what that looks like. Let me back this up. All right, let's back this up a little bit. All right, this person needs to move back. So you can see there's not a lot of negative space there. Let's go ahead and move them back just a little bit. And I can move this person back a little bit too to compensate. And I can use the prop as kind of like, not a backdrop, but kind of like an area there. And you know what? In fact, let's put them on top of the prop when we start. Why not? So let me go ahead and save them. What we have now, let's do the symbol. Okay, we're going to hit acknowledge that message. We're going to put G, so we know it's color guard, and accept. So it's automatically going to put a flag in their hand, and it's going to put flag number 1. Now there are 14 different flags. You can also put custom flags in here. If the band is using specific flags, you can actually change those. But we're going to leave that color for now. And I do want to change the color guard uniform. Maybe we can leave that one. Let's just leave that one for now. That's fine. But let's go ahead and create our other pocket, and then our we're going to connect the back color guard to the drums in the back. So let's do that now. So we have another 5. Oop. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to label these. So let's go ahead and label them now. All right. So we're going to just do 1 through 5. It doesn't really matter the numbers unless you want this person to be number 1, which let's go ahead and do that. Let's make sure, because maybe this is our number 1 color guard. Our captain, we want them number 1. Let's go ahead and put them on top of the box. So we need to make sure that these can be marched on. So go to performer prop. Let's do one at a time. Can be walked on, and then this one can be walked on. And then we need to make sure this person can walk on performer props. So let's go ahead and put this person on top. And then let's do, okay, I gotta fiddle with that. Let's zoom in. Okay, so I can put them right where I want them. Let's put them on the edge here. So once again, they can just not stand there, but it's mainly for labeling. So now I have someone on there if I wanted someone on there. I don't like it. Let's go ahead and take them back off, because now that I'm seeing it, it's going to be too much distraction. So let's put them back here. All right, perfect. Okay, so that's going to work for now. Let's go ahead and create our color guard in this pocket here. Let's make sure we're clicking away. There we go. We want 5. They're going to be G's. Let's go ahead and put G there. So we're going to do 1 here, 1 here. These are going to be a little bit more spread out. Let's see. Move this person back. Move this person forward. Maybe we'll do kind of like an odd. Yeah, we don't want them too close, because you don't want some negative space there, so you can actually see the performer. Okay, I'm going to move this person over, and then that should help out. And then we can move this person over a little bit. Move this person over a little bit. So that way from the 50-yard line, if I'm looking here, right, this is my perspective. And that's another great thing I love about this tool. You can see the perspective, right? So if I'm at like in the stands, you can actually see the stands right there. You can do it from different perspectives of the stands. So I can do it from all the way up at the top. This is what it looks like. And then I can see that there's not a lot of negative space because I have a sousaphone here. So I'm probably going to push this person back a little bit, and then this person back as well. But kind of helps you see like the real perspective, like the judges and the audience and stuff like that. So we're going to push this person back. And that's what this really helps you see the perspective. I'm going to put them on the hash. Let's move them over here. And this is not too bad because remember, we're looking at the negative space here from up top, right, at an angle. But I do think they need to move down. So let's move them back to where they were. 2 steps should do it. Let's take a look. Now let's split the space. We're gonna equalize the spacing there. Let's see what this looks like from here. All right, I'm going to move this person over and then move this person over here. And we're going to just offset things a little bit. Okay, I'm not liking this right here. What I'm trying to avoid is making it look like it's in a diagonal because then you might get judged on that. So we want to make sure it looks truly scattered. So let's move this over here. Trying to think of how I can do this. I could move this person back here, or maybe move it down like that. Once again, this is all fluid. You can kind of just move things around. Maybe create more space here. Okay. Liking that better. We're getting there. Let's push this right here and move this down or back a little bit, sorry. And then we'll push this person over to here. So they're going to be a little bit spread out at the beginning. But now look at the difference. So let's go ahead and put a flag in their hand. Hit accept. So now you can see what it really looks like. And I think that looks pretty darn cool. We're going to have some color when it's spinning and all that fun stuff. So let's put our last layer of guard in the back. All right, so let me go ahead and back it out just a little bit. We're going to move our stage down so I can put them in. We're going to connect them up to the drums. So they're going to be kind of connected. We're going to do a 6-step interval. So this is 6 away from there. We're going to do boom and then boom just down a little bit. We're going to follow the same curve as our other curve down here. Probably need to do a little bit more angles. So let's move this here. Create this here like that. All right. Kind of just match this up. Let's see what that looks like. Pretty close. It doesn't have to be exact. I mean, we want it to look, symmetrical in some sense. All right, but let's put the right number of people. We only need 6. So that's a 7-step interval. So we need to go back to a 6. So this is where this comes into play. Okay, we're going to move this over 2 more steps, back this up. Now we can go to here. Remember, we always want landmarks. As many landmarks as you can give your performers, the better. Because we want to make sure that it's easy to clean, right? So technically here, I can probably move them 1 off, and then that's going to create a landmark for this person on the yard line. And we can do that just by pulling this over a little bit. I wonder if I can pull it over here. Okay, so that's pretty close to a 6. I mean, it's going to be like 0.073. I mean, but now we have a person on here, splitting here. You can also, if you have this person split, you can have them split here, and then 2 off here, and then on the yard line. And you're going to have easy to clean. And you can have them move over a 16th of a step or quarter step. It's not going to affect your overall, right? And I'll show you what that looks like. It's going to look symmetrical. But let's go ahead and get the flags in their hands. All right, let me label these because I forgot to label these performers here. So let's go ahead and we're just going to do 7 through 10. 6 through 10. What am I thinking? 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I have 6 performers. Darn it. I have an extra performer here. I only wanted 5, so I'm going to get rid of this performer here. So let me show you how you can do that. So see, sometimes there are teachable moments. We're going to do utilities, and we're going to do drill rewriter. I'm going to say yes. Remove performers. Right now, since we're on 0, it doesn't really matter. We're going to do leave a hole throughout the drill. Make sure we click on the person we want. That's this one over here. We could, you know what? Let's get rid of this one here. Let's undo that. We're going to get rid of this person here and see if that helps. Hit continue, leave a hole, and now they're gone. It will leave it in your cast list that they were there, but at least this way we have a consistency. And I do need to restructure them, but I do like this person being here because we're going to have the drill move across, and we're going to have we can have the color guard do counter motion, all kinds of different things. But I'm going to go ahead and move this person back. So let's push them right to there. Let's see what that looks like on our view. Let's move them down just a little bit. Okay. Maybe I can do a zigzag. So I'll maybe move this person back here and move this person down. That way we're having like a zigzag pattern, and then they can come together and move out on our next couple moves. So let's go ahead and move this person down here. Hit OK or accept. Select our other person. We're going to move them back where they originally were. So once we have one less person. Nope, they need to move back in this way. Once again, we want it to look scattered, but we're kind of creating a pattern, kind of, right? So kind of a scattered pattern. So let's do that, and I can move this person over just a little bit, maybe one spot over that way. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, yeah, I don't want it to look symmetrical, right? I don't want it to be like judged and like, well, wait a second, that diagonal is different than this diagonal. So you may need to move people around, and you can change your mind. So let's go ahead and change our mind again. So it's always okay to change your mind because we do want it to look scattered. So having said that, now that I'm seeing it as showing as a pattern, probably not the best thing because once again, it's judgeable, right? A scatter you can't really judge, but you have to indicate visually that it's a scatter and it's not supposed to be symmetrical. So all right, so I think we're good there. So I'm going to leave that there. Now you can make it symmetrical, make a pattern. I may change my mind here in a few minutes and do that, but let's get the guard uniforms going in the back here. So we added them, but somehow we did not get the labels, which I don't understand because I put the labels on there. So let's repeat our symbols, and we're going to do guard number 8, 9, 10. Oh, we need to let me start something real quick here. We need to relabel these guys. So let's relabel these performers here. So it should be 6 on up. There we go, through 10. Now we have 1 through 5, 6 through 10. And then these performers would be 11 through 16. So we need 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yep. All right, so 11 through 16. Perfect. I'm going to change the contours to the outside. Now let's verify the, hey, look at that. Now look how good that looks. We have layers going back. Now what I could do is disconnect them if I wanted to and really create the layers going up at an angle. But I think for simplicity, I'm going to leave it alone. That way the guard can see in the back all the way to the front for timing and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and save what we have. And now we have everything set, ready to go to write our drill. All right. Okay, so that's all we have time for in this episode. But in the next episode, we're actually going to start moving the drill from set to set. We're going to put in our turnaround at the very beginning and then actually animate a set so you all can see that. But thank you very much for joining me. Really do appreciate it. If you have not subscribed, please consider doing so by clicking the subscribe button. That way you get notified when we have videos on our channel. We also have podcasts, reaction videos, and this drill writing series. So please go and look at our full catalog. We have over 100 videos for you to watch. So please enjoy that. And I'll see you guys in the next one. And hopefully you guys are enjoying this series. Please consider, like I said, joining our membership campaign as well. We do have a membership campaign where you can go to our community page, and that's going to be down in the description below. You click the join button, and then you can become a member of the March or Die community. Right, well, thank you very much. We'll see you on the next one, coming very, very soon. Until then, march on.